It's a Monday morning, which means I am joined by Millie to talk all things navigating adulthood.
Join us, two girls in our 20s, as we muddle through life and try and figure out what being an adult really means.
You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts and YouTube. Please do give us a follow and check out our socials at No Longer Legally Detained.
Hello everybody, we're back.
It's another Monday.
It's another morning.
And it's another Millie. The same
Millie. Still the same joke.
That joke's horrific, and it's actually really making me want to, we'll be removing that.
There are so many jokes about me being the same person on this podcast.
I know, it's
actually ridiculous.
It's one of those things that's just not even actually that funny. It's one of those dad jokes.
We don't find it funny.
We don't find it funny, no.
And I don't think anyone else does either, but here we are.
But what are we talking about today?
The title of today's podcast is, well, I don't know if this is actually what's going to be written, but the concept behind today's podcast is I will be better when... Dot. All about having goals that you think once I've reached that goal, my life will just be infinitely better. But is that realistic?
Let's find out. To clarify, this is just our experiences. Others are available.
Disclaimer. So, the idea of I'll be better when can relate to a lot of things, can't it?
Yes.
There's lots of examples of it. When I'm older, when I'm in a relationship.
Yeah.
When I'm, trigger warning, thinner.
Yeah, because when I think we were looking at planning, I know, love it. That thing of some of the things that we kind of have thought about, and I think that's one of those things that we kind of, oh, my tummy's rumbling.
She's ready for her pizza, but not microwave.
Laughed like that. That was awful. I think that thing of there's quite a lot of that talk about at the moment. I think that thing of waiting. I saw it on another podcast. I think it was about the idea of waiting for something else to allow yourself to be happy, and that thing of morbid, if you wait, you don't know what's going to happen. But also, I think, and it links to so many other things, doesn't it, as well?
I've actually got a quote on my phone I just realised, which wasn't planned, but here we are. I just remembered that says, in between goals, there's this thing called life that needs to be lived.
Love it.
And I feel that really relates to this podcast.
So, yeah.
Episode. But yeah, there's lots of things. It's that kind of idea of when I'm older, things will get better, and
it's definitely a mindset we're all guilty of.
Yeah, I feel like it's quite a universal experience. Definitely. Really, isn't it?
Hence why it's on the podcast.
Hence why it's on the podcast. Oh, I dropped the mini mic. No. Realistically, it's a symptom of perfectionism, isn't it? That idea of this is actually something I've done my research for this episode, and that's what Google told me.
We love Google.
Psychologists on Google. I think it was actually the Google AI overview.
Of course it was. That is actually quite useful though.
I know. Google with your AI overview has really upped its game. Anyway, and that kind of idea of things have to be perfect to be happy, and that kind of idea that happiness is not a destination, it's a journey.
And I think, that definitely is that thing that consumerism, capitalism, social expectations kind of force us into that thing of we're always striving. And it's so important to strive, definitely having that purpose, aiming for something, but also about being able to live in the moment. Yeah. And enjoy the moment. It's really hard.
It actually doesn't really help to be when this goal is reached. Yeah. Because I always find when you have those goals, it just keeps getting further and further away, this idea of when you're...
And if you're a perfectionist, even when you get to that, there's always something more.
Yeah. You'll never
achieve
nothing
it.
Will ever be enough for that mindset.
I think it's that thing of understanding that actually getting to the end in terms of overall, you can't achieve that. And then you can go into a slight existential crisis / depression, but that's for a different episode. But
I think one of the big examples is when I'm an adult, basically what this whole podcast is about. When I'm an adult, everything will be sorted out.
This is the episode. This is all we need.
This is all we need. End of podcast. The podcast will not continue after this episode.
It will.
Anything
else you want to say on the information?
Let me just refer to my notes. No, I've done all my information. So Hannah, wait a second. So Hannah, we've moved to a ruler. For those who are listening to the podcast, we have mini mics, and I've just clipped mine onto a ruler to use it as like a proper microphone. And Hannah's rolling her eyes; she's not impressed. But I think this is quite innovative. It's actually falling off, so I might just take it off. Okay, that was the whole point.
Well, that was 1 minute of my life I'm not going to get back.
Okay, anyway. Right. So I think, like as we said, it's quite a universal experience. But let's just talk a little bit about our experiences with it. I know for me, one of the big ones was when I'm in a relationship, everything will be okay.
Interesting.
Everything will be great.
I've never had that one, but I think
we're very different when it comes to the relationship aspect, aren't we?
Very different.
And I had that mindset for a long time.
In terms of just out of interest, like what did you think would be best once you're in a relationship, or was it just the thing of you just had that idea but you didn't actually have any?
I had no backup for it,
so that's why
because it's really completely irrelevant whether you're in a relationship or not. I feel
sorry
because actually, and one of the biggest things one of the biggest revelations I had in my life was actually that the like hole that I was trying to fill. This is about to get deep. The hole that I was trying to fill with like that idea of what a relationship would bring to my life actually had everything. There was no hole there.
Yeah.
Because I had so many like amazing family and friends and like so much love coming from different places that I really did not need a relationship to make that,
to fill that hole.
Yeah.
No, that's it goes back to another quote. We're here for the quotes, like, which is kind of similar but kind of different. That thing of that idea of like thinking that you want to disappear but actually you want to be found, and like that person who finds you is yourself. Like actually you're it's all there. It's kind of believing that you are enough.
As RuPaul said, if you don't love yourself, how the hell is anyone else gonna love you?
Iconic.
So yeah.
And I think I definitely have had this a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. Groundbreaking.
I think it's hard to like think of actual examples.
I think I suppose it's that thing of, because like you said, you had no evidence or reason backing up the fact that if you were in a relationship everything would be better. And I think it is that thing of like always kind of like that mindset of like just surviving, and the idea like if you just survive this then you get to the next bit and everything will feel okay. And I think what I like obviously found is that you, even if you get to that next stage, if you're not like content in yourself, you bring yourself with you, so therefore it's still gonna not feel like the right thing. And actually I guess that actually nothing, things, achievements, successes can't be enough unless we're enough for ourselves.
I think it kind of links as well, like little drama school link here, which is not a lot less personal, but that it's kind of quite similar to the idea of like, once I go to drama school, once I leave, I'm going to get a job kind of thing. And it's like, well, actually life doesn't, like nothing is guaranteed in anything in life. And that's really quite scary. But then once you've accepted that, you know, like it can't really, nothing can go wrong.
Yeah, and also I guess a different angle with like the mindset of like, oh, well, once I get to drama school, like I'll feel like I'm good enough. Again, another thing, which again, like obviously very different journeys into like the drama school scene, and obviously I've now gone on a slightly different journey again, so it's a bit different. But I think that idea of like definitely heard a lot of people who've like grown up in the performing arts industry, that feeling of like. And then actually interesting, like so many things that I've seen, obviously now being friends with a lot of people who are at drama school, like who've gone and actually like they love it. Oh, don't get me wrong, but like they has made them question so many things, and they are like doubting maybe ability and all that kind of stuff, which is just natural and like part of learning.
Right, tips and advice for dealing with the I'll be better when attitude.
I think probably my first one would be accepting and like acknowledging that is a mindset. I think for so long I was in such denial.
And also acknowledging that, like, has that mindset ever worked? No. Probably not. I mean, for some people, maybe. But, like...
Yeah. I think that just acknowledgement that actually it's not a personal failure to feel like that. Like, a lot of people do have that mindset. And that also understanding, like, it is so cliche. And, like, that's, I think, a lot of these things, and it's just annoying because it's not as easy. And I don't think necessarily it's about... Even if you can't change the fact that your brain goes to that, I guess it's a habit as well. That's something that you have to consciously acknowledge, which again is really frustrating because like it's like we're just having a negative mindset, like in terms of like say like self-worth. And I have a very tendency to like often put myself down, and there are some people at my course who are trying to help me. That idea of like constantly picking me up on the fact that I'm being self-deprecating. But I think, and obviously like that's not the spin that you're necessarily going to do all of the time, but I think just even acknowledging that you're having that mindset is helpful, because you know that deep down, like you know that it's not necessarily the most helpful, but actually like not punishing yourself for like having those thoughts.
Yeah. I think another one, and it sounds so cliche and cringy, but practicing gratitude.
Yes, I went through a stage of practicing gratitude, and actually that was quite helpful, and I think I should go back to that.
But I think practicing gratitude, I'm always a bit like, oh, but then I realised like it doesn't have to be like, I feel so grateful for the trees outside. Like, of course, if that is what you're feeling grateful for, then wonderful. And if you can do it like that, I mean, that's great for you. You're a stronger person than I am.
Yeah.
But most of the time, mine is just like accepting how things are. Like, this is what's happened, and that's okay. And like, and that can be being gratitude.
Like, I went through a bit where I was like trying to find like a couple of positives of the week, which again, like that just help you feel a bit more mindful and present. And I think also like just talking and listening to other people as well. Like, I think, which again, like can have a twofold thing of like sometimes you're like, but actually when you hear other people's stories and like thinking, oh, actually I'm not alone in this feeling. And yeah, I guess also like seeing where you are in your path and like thinking about like, well, if I'm not very happy, you know, I think things could be better when, what are those feelings behind that, and what am I missing? That it might not be those things, but it's going to be more like a feeling of what do I feel like I'm missing, or what do I feel like I'm lacking? And is that an actual thing, or is it a feeling like within myself? And then if it's a feeling within yourself, what can you do to like, what are the steps to, because we're not saying like if you're in a bad place things will never get better. That's not, but it's idea. No. I think we're proof that things do get better, 100%.
But it's just like that idea that it's not like once you reach a certain point, that's when things are going to get better. It's like what steps can you take?
And I guess that links now, like this, for a couple of minutes we are going to talk about eating disorders, but I guess that very much links to that eating disorder mindset of like, you know, when your eating disorder tells you that everything will be better when you're skinnier or one of those like thinner. And I think obviously a lot of eating disorders linked to control and linked to like things that have happened and wanting to you know keep like that, you know, being looked after or whatever. But I think that thing of, you know, we know in reality that actually our life isn't going to get better just because you're thinner. We all know that that's not a reality, and that is that absolutely not like our eating disorder voice talking. And I think that kind of links to many of the other things. And I think, you know, definitely at the time, like having, you know, struggled with an eating disorder and definitely having those points where it feels like everything will just be better, and we know that it's not, and that doesn't invalidate that feeling at the time. But I think it's really important that we realize that actually it's not one of those external features, it's actually what's internally inside us, and actually being able to look at how, hang on, so why do I think if I'm skinnier everything will feel better? And like then like identifying those and then looking at like, okay, so what can I do that will actually make those feel better, because that isn't the answer. And obviously that's just one very specific example, but that links, I think, those other things of, I think a lot of the it will be better when does link to external like validating factors, like, you know, getting a job, going to university, obviously like the eating disorder one of like being thinner.
I think the eating disorder one is such an explicit
example. that really shows it in a really
And-
obvious way.
Yeah, and also shows that like negative outcome
Yeah.
so clearly.
Definitely.
Because then it's kind of like, then you can start. I think that was the first one that I realized, and then I was like, oh my god, but there's so many others.
Yeah.
That just because it doesn't seem like they're having as negative of an impact, actually that mentality
isn't necessarily helpful.
Isn't helpful.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Monday Mornings with Millie. If you like the episode or are loving the podcast, please do give us a review and check out our Instagram at No Longer Legally Detained, the podcast, and the podcast section of my website, www.legallydetained.co.uk.
You can also check out Hannah's Instagram at Legally Detained and tune in on Thursdays for Thursday Thoughts with Hannah. But in the meantime, we hope you have a great week and we will see you soon.
Bye.